right, Grand Rising, everybody. Thank y'all for jumping on. I appreciate it. This is Eric coming in from the Blank Spot, and the Blank Spot is a sublimation blanks and supply warehouse. We're located just outside of Columbia, South Carolina, and I'm gonna go ahead and get to it. The reason why I'm here is because I want to talk about the port strike. Now, I'm not a content creator by any means. I'm not a content creator, but I create content for our business, and I think this is the perfect conversation for small business owners. Now, before we get started, if you're not watching us from our YouTube channel, I want you guys to go ahead and make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can see this video again. It is going to be live, uncut, unedited. Go to the YouTube channel, subscribe, hit the bell to be notified when we go live or when we upload a video. Once again, this video will be live. It will be available so we can see it again. Secondly, if you are watching from another platform, just ask that you keep your comments professional, and also I want you guys to think about looking at this from a different perspective. Look at this as a business aspect versus a personal opinion aspect. I mean, feel free to weigh in, but this is something that is going to affect not just small business owners. Of course, it's going to affect households, but as a small business owner, self-employed business owner, it's important to me that what's going on actually gets rectified immediately. It gets fixed. The situation gets fixed immediately. So, Grand Rising to everybody. Thanks for jumping on. Drop your city and state. Let me know where you guys are tuning in from. Once again, this is Eric. This is the Blank Spot, and we talk about business on here as well. So we are not just somebody who does a company that just does crafting and showing people how to use our products. But when we don't address certain issues that actually affect us directly as business owners, we have a problem. And I think there's a huge problem in this country, in America right now. There's a huge problem right now in this country. One of the biggest problems I think in this country right now is that we are an emotional people. There's lots of people who are going to be affected by this port strike. So I don't know if you guys have seen what's going on. I don't know if you're watching the news or if you're watching YouTube videos and clips that content creators are creating. However, I want y'all to think about this. If you are a small business owner, if you are self-employed today, this is going to directly affect how you get your products and services, or how you get your products, okay? How you get your supplies. This is going to directly affect you. And the question is, how long is the government going to let this thing play out? Now, of course, there's a lot of different opinions about, unions and about, going on strike. Hey, they accepted the wage that they got and so on and so forth. That's not on the table right now. What's on the table right now is that you have a group of individuals who are not happy with what's going on. You have a group of individuals, and I don't know all the ins and outs of the situation, but you have a group of individuals who feel less than, who feel like they're not appreciated pay-wise. And they're ready to do something about it. Imagine being in business, and every time you created something for a customer or a potential customer, imagine at every corner, at every turn, they tried to lowball your work, your value, or your worth. How would you feel? A job is no different. Yes, these group of men and women signed up for a job. Yes, they agreed to a certain amount of pay. But now what's going on, and there's more than just the pay at stake. Now what's going on is they're being threatened. Their jobs are being threatened. Their livelihoods are being threatened through different types of automation. So I want you to think about this. As people are going to comment, and I want you guys to comment. People are going to comment and they're going to weigh in on different factors about the situation. But I want you to look at it from a business perspective. If you are a business owner, no matter how big or how small your business is, if you're a business owner, I want you to weigh on it from a business perspective. How is this going to affect small and self-employed business owners? How is shutting down these ports going to affect it? How is slowing down the movement of cargo and supplies and material going to affect it? I was watching the video of Harold Daggett. I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly. He's the president of the ILA, the union. And he was basically stating that. And if you guys go to our TikTok I did post a short clip of his interview, but if you guys go and check it out, he posted a video. He did a video, and I posted part of the video. He did a video, and he was talking about how this is going to affect the country. He said the first week, what's going to happen is it's going to be all over the news, day and night, right? For the first week. He said the second week, what's going to happen is car salesmen are not going to be able to sell cars because they're not going to be able to get them off the port. So they're going to start getting laid off. Y'all see the domino effect? Then he said, department stores, malls, large corporations who sell apparel are not going to be able to function because they won't be able to get their items from China. And he specifically said China, and I'm going to address that as well. He specifically said China, but not just China, overseas. Anything that's being imported won't be able to come off the ship, off the cargo, right? And he said the trickle effect, people are going to start getting laid off. It's going to affect farmers. It's going to affect different aspects of the economy. And I want y'all to think about this. How do you think the government is supposed to react or respond to this? Now, this is not a political channel. We're talking about business right now. All right, talking about business. So I'm going to read some of the comments that's coming in. I don't see anything on YouTube, but I see some on TikTok. Albert says, my grandmother was a toll booth attendant right before the shift to attendant less tolls. He mentioned that as well. He mentioned about how people were actually working the toll booths, and then they went to automation. And they got all the easy pass going on. So yeah, automation is ramping up big time. Self-checkout, fast food, sea and airports. Absolutely. How is that affecting you as a business owner, though? If you're a business owner right now, those are the comments I want to see. I love to see the comments about how this is going to affect you. We are a supplier. The blank spot is a supplier, and the majority of our products are coming from overseas. Now, how is that going to affect us? Well, right now we're sitting on a good bit of inventory, which is not too bad. But the longer this thing takes, the further behind the shipping and the processing to get those items onto the port is going to be. And that brings up a scary idea that this action right here can shut the country down. Now, the alternative that I see as a business owner is that the few resources that the country actually has, I see business owners going up in price. If you make cups, if you're getting cups from your local business owner, your local distributor inside the States, they have the ability to raise their prices. What y'all think about that? They got the ability to raise their prices. It's something when you see one shirt's going to be $45. Let's see. I want to see robots making custom orders, dealing with customers. It's not going to happen. But here's the thing. When you talk about custom orders, the only ones that are making custom orders, folks, is small business owners. So that probably won't even be a thing. We're pretty much the only ones that are making making custom stuff. But I want you to think about it from a different perspective. I want everybody to get out of their feelings, okay? I want you to get out of your feelings for a minute, and I want you to get into the business mindset. I want you to get into the operational side of it. I want you to get into the economical portion of it, because there's a lot of people who are giving opinions based off of how they feel instead of actually looking at it from a business perspective. From a business perspective, how is this going to affect your business? How is this going to affect your business? When you decide to put all of your eggs in one basket, how does this affect your business? I'm open for comments. It's a thing that a lot of people don't understand. Everything's going right. Everything's going smoothly, right? Everything's going smoothly until it's not. Stock up on items. Well, it's probably a little bit too late right now to stock up on items. If the port's closed right now, if the port's at a halt right now, it's gonna be challenging to buy extra supplies unless you've been shopping inside the states. Now let's talk about that. That's a great idea. Stock up on items. Well, that probably should have happened if you are a distributor or a supplier. That probably should have happened before. That should have probably happened before. We are suppliers, so we have an inventory. We have a website. We have a Shopify. We may not have all of our inventory on our Shopify, but that is an idea that probably should have happened before. And this is for all of the suppliers out there, not the people who are making end items. Not talking about the people who are buying and making items for end user customers. I'm talking about people who are supplying the t-shirts, people who are supplying the cups, who are supplying the paper and the ink and things like that. Let's see. Grand rising to everybody who's jumping on. This is Eric coming in from the Blank Spot. We're a Sublimation Blank Supply Warehouse. We're discussing the port strike and how it is affecting and how it will affect small business owners. Okay. Thank y'all for jumping on. I appreciate it. I'm reading some of these comments on TikTok. Just so you guys know, we are broadcasting live on our YouTube channel, so you guys can go. And if you have not subscribed, you can go back and look at this live broadcast on our YouTube channel. It is the Blank Spot. Make sure you subscribe, hit the bell to be notified when we go live or when we upload a video. I think this is an important conversation, and I think that we should look at it from a different perspective. Gamesley said, "Why is this happening? Why this happening? It's happening because, in my professional opinion, I think it's happening because one, it's kind of like giving one person the keys. There was no fallback to not allowing someone to have this type of power. That's number one. Number two, it's happening because of corporate greed. It is happening because of corporate greed. It's not just political. That's in my opinion, that is even if it is just political, and I'm not here to talk about politics, but even if it is just political, it should open the eyes to a lot of people to understand what the economy is doing. I used to have these conversations on my other platform about the economy and how to actually put yourself in a position to win other than just sit back and let other people do things for you. Let's say it is a political move. Let's say it's just political, okay? Who gets the money? How long does the government let this thing go until things start to stack up and back up? Let's say it is political. So what? If you live in this country, the greatest country in the world, we have access to 25% of the world's wealth hitting our borders. And you see that right now by this port shutting down. They're talking about anywhere between $500 million to possibly $6 billion a day that they're going to lose. Who's going to lose that money? I'm not losing $500 million to $6 billion. Are you losing $500 million to $6 billion? Who is this? The effects are going to be on the small business owner. The effects are going to be on the small business owner. However, it's going to affect big business. And what's going to happen is now everything's going to go up. We talk about inflation, and we talk about what inflation is. Inflation, by definition, is the rise in cost of goods and services. But inflation is caused by greed. You have the banks, you have large corporations, and you have the government. The banks, which fall under the feds. Okay? And you now have a situation to where you can still see the collusion. You can still see those three entities coming together and winning. And the people of this country still losing. It is not the fact of if it's going to be over soon. Yeah, we hope it is. But it's also an issue with this company and how we look at the economy. About a week ago, gas in South Carolina in my area had dropped to $2.41 a gallon. It's running right now roughly about $2.78 a gallon. Gas is what actually runs, transportation is actually what runs this country. No matter how you look at it, whether it's getting air, water, or ground. If you're not able to transport goods and services to the end user, then you're going to have a problem. So transportation is key. If gas can go down for a period of time, if it can be under $3, that means a couple of things. It means a couple of things. We have the ability to control prices. As the economy is consumed with greed, you as a consumer have the ability to control the prices if you decide not to play the game. But we're so emotional. In my opinion, we're so emotional about what goes on. And even as I read some of the comments, some of these comments that I'm reading are kind of ludicrous to me. Some make some sense, but even as I read the comments, we have to get out of our emotions. You can't be silly. Everything evolves and revolves around politics. Okay, but at the end of the day, if this can slow down progress, where are you at in your small business? And I gotta stick to that because that's what the call is about. It's not about red or blue. It's not about Democrat or Republican. It's not about that. It's about you as a small business owner and how this is going to affect you and how you're going to try to combat it or alleviate it. Port strikes, gas prices, supply chains, consumer prices, travel disruption, economic slowdown. I read a post under a YouTube video. They said that's why we should manufacture more things in America. Let's be real. The average person that's buying, that's consuming, they want to be able to spend $1 and get $100 worth of value. We've been spoiled. We want value without paying for it. So just be clear. Let's just be clear. We had factories in this country. We had factories here. And corporate greed, not changing in the government and in the economy, corporate greed shut those factories down. You had a corporation that was making $10, $20 billion in profit, and that wasn't enough for them. It's like whatever happens, you got to understand, if we were to start back manufacturing things inside this country, then you would not be able to afford it. You wouldn't be able to afford it. You wouldn't want to pay for it. And it's funny when I read that comment that people really think that as Americans, we're going to support America. Someone said, hey, that's what we get for basically, building other countries over ours, building other countries' economy over ours. Well, once again, yes, the government oversees corporate greed. They benefit from corporate greed. What happens? How do you alleviate it? How do you combat it? What can you do as a business owner? Spills over to shareholders. Expect gains from the investments. Absolutely. So let me share something with you guys. As a financial strategist, I'm not a guru, but I am a financial strategist, and as a financial strategist, I understand how the politics play a part in this. Once again, I don't want to talk about politics. I want to talk about the financial portion of this, the economic portion of this, and the greed. That's what happens. What happens is you have to understand how it's not going to benefit a large corporation to manufacture products and services or goods and services in this country, not if they want to see a higher profit. If their profit margin is at 30, 40%, 50%, 60%, and it's not enough, when will it be enough? There's a thing with and here's the thing. When I'm looking at comments, I want you guys to be clear. It's not that we can't manufacture in this country. It's that when we think about it, we get emotional and we come up with solutions. Can we manufacture cotton? and send it, say we grow cotton, send it overseas, have it processed, then we have to buy it back. It makes no sense. You're absolutely right. But here's the thing. Does it make financial sense to the business owners? Let's look at this. There's a lot of small business owners out there right now, and I see you guys commenting. There's a lot of small business owners out there right now who would rather comment, and say, hey, you know what, this is a solution. And it is. It's a great solution. Now what happens is you're gonna have more unions. I'm just talking from a larger perspective of a larger business owner. They don't like unions. You're gonna have unions, and people are gonna want to get paid what they're actually worth, not scraps. If you have a company that's valued at $100 billion and they're getting 50 to 60% profit every year, and they're not sharing their profits with their employees, then they're gonna actually want more money. That's just how it is. Why would I as an employee want to get a raise of $1 and lock me in for 6 years? Why would I want that? If I'm here to provide for my family, if I'm here to have a better life for my family, why would that be sufficient? There's always going to be somebody who's going to say, well, I'll work for that amount of money. While the corporations continue to get more money, while the corporations continue to stack up, while the government continues to put us in positions where we feel sometimes that we have to make these choices and decisions. It's a whole bunch of collusion. Regardless of if it's an election year, regardless of if this happened a month before election time, regardless of if the government oversees corporate greed, regardless of if the feds decide they want to raise the inflation and the interest rates, they can do that. Regardless of all that, what are we going to do, and what can we do as business owners, as small business owners? How is this going to affect you? I've only seen a couple of comments. To that degree. How is this going to affect small business owners if this thing does last? If you are a small business owner, whatever you're doing, you can be an esthetician, right? You can work in several different areas, different lanes. You can be a doctor. How is this going to affect small businesses? Medication for people who have healthcare issues. How is it going to affect us? Can we produce these things in our country? Absolutely. Will there be some type of regulation on how much they charge? Absolutely not. Why? Because as long as we continue to have certain personalities and personnel inside of government positions, and as long as their palms are steadily getting greased, they can care less that one pill costs $600. They can care less about that. And the fact, and I wanted to bring this up because somebody talked about China specifically. But I want you guys to think about the last time, and this is for anybody who makes t-shirts, okay? The next time you purchase a t-shirt from a t-shirt supplier that's on the state side, I want you to look at the tag and see where it was made. Are y'all with me? I want you to peel that tag back and I want you to see where that t-shirt was made. And most likely it's gonna say Indonesia or Malaysia. Something to think about. So if it is coming from China, China is purchasing it from Indonesia or Malaysia. Let's not talk about the 50 cents to $1 that they're probably paying these people in the sweatshops. See, we're not paying it to them. The big businesses are not paying it to them. The corporations are not paying it to them. The corporations are paying one person that owns that manufacturer, that shop. Excuse me, the loss of words. The one person that owns that company over there in that region, they're paying that person. That person is paying them 50 cents or $1. We can't have it both ways. We can't want items for less and not understand what that means. This strike However long it takes, however long this strike takes, this strike is going to hopefully open the eyes of some people who are currently playing with their small business right now. That's where I'm going. Because a lot of people are playing with their small business. You may have enough supplies right now, but what happens when you get an influx of orders? And what happens when the stateside vendors that you have been so much supporting, what happens when their supplies get low? When the supply chain slows down, there's there's like a domino effect. There's and I guess that's the wrong terminology. There's a train wreck. There's a train wreck, and there's a huge pileup. Like in Europe, I was in Europe when I was in the military, and we'd be on the autobahn, and it's called a style, right? It's called a traffic style. And when you have that traffic style, you know, that's what happens. That's what happens. How is that relevant that S&S just brought Alpha Broader? That has nothing to do with your supply chain. What happens when they don't have enough? We talked about this. I may not have enough tables. Okay. I wanna get comments. I want to get comments and responses, questions and statements about how this affects you as a small business owner. Because at the end of the day, it's you versus the government. This is something you need to understand. This is you versus the government. The lack of financial understanding, the lack of economic understanding, the ability to, we're always in our feelings about what is going on. This is not a feeling time. This is a time to where you got to sit down as a business owner and start saying, how does it affect me? I'm not talking about it affects all of us as Americans. We know that it affects all of us as Americans. I'm talking about business, small business, because small business is what makes this country turn as well. So we can play, I did 22 years in the military, served my country, very proud of my actions, but America did not love me enough to help me to get to where I am. I had to do my part. So it's not about it affecting Americans. That's another call. This is a call about how this affects small businesses. How does this affect you as a small business? Are you actually a small business? Have you thought about it? Is your understanding of economic empowerment, the economy, how it stands, and the growth and how business plays a part in the role of the economy, how the government plays a part in the economy, how big business and how the feds. You have to run your business like a consumer. I'm not sure I understand that. I don't even want to assume what you mean. But I won't be running my business like a consumer if I'm reading this verbatim. Running your business like a consumer means that you're going to be in your emotional feelings and you're going to buy based off of price instead of based off of value. So I would love for you to elaborate on that. We're talking about, you guys just jumping in, we're talking about how this strike is going to affect your economy as your business is concerned. As a small business, and I talked about this before, some people have heard me, some people have listened, some people have taken action. Everyone has their own economy. And when I say that, people kind of get taken aback and they say, well, you know, having your own economy means having your own your money, your own currency. Not necessarily. Currency is time. Time is currency. You have your own economy. How you control your economy is going to dictate how your economy pays you back and how your economy actually supports you. So I will close with this. This is something that, in my opinion, is noteworthy, and it's important that we will we should pay attention to. If you don't watch the news, because I don't, I've definitely been watching this through various streams and networks. But I definitely want you guys to kind of stay tuned. Once again, I'm not a content creator. I just thought that this was some great content for small business owners. Hopefully we'll get more small business owners take on it not people who are just acting like they're a business owner or playing business, but I like to get business owners' take on how this thing could affect you as a small business owner. My name is Eric, coming in from Columbia, South Carolina. This is the Blank Spot. Once again, we're a sublimation blanks and supply warehouse. We supply awesome sublimation blanks and supplies to include sublimation paper, sublimation ink, shirts, tumblers, all types of drinkware to our customers. And the way it's going to affect us is if the supply chain slows down to a halt, then we won't be able to get our products to people who have been buying them from us. Okay? So that's going to be important to us going forward because this is what feeds our family. And I know our support of our customers is helping them to feed their families as well. So give you guys something to think about. Hopefully you get out of your feelings and stay out of your feelings and look at this from a business perspective and not from an emotional perspective. Like I always say, when you know better, that's when you have the ability to do better. And the only knowledge that's powerful is properly applied knowledge. I'll see everybody at the top because there's too many people struggling at the bottom. Peace.